Yes, you are most welcome, my lovely students. As promised earlier on, we said in this lesson we are going to look at some practical applications. Practical applications, and of course we are dealing with what? We are looking at conversion of metric units. Okay, let's see some of the practical applications. A typical example is here. Question 1. A rectangular room is measuring 3000 millimeters by 3000 millimeters. How many tiles can fit in this room if a tile measuring 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters is to be what? Is to be used. Okay. A rectangular room is measuring that. Okay. A rectangular room is measuring that. Just a moment. Good. A rectangular room is measuring 3000 by 3000. So the room, if I sketch this room, (3000 millimeters by 3000). This is actually supposed to be a square room, not a rectangular room. You can't have a rectangular room which is measuring 3000 by 3000. This is a square room, okay? Now they're asking you that how many tiles can fit in this room. Just imagine you put a tile here, a tile here, a tile here, a tile here. Just imagine we put tiles and we fill this room, okay? This is what the question is saying. Just imagine that. Okay? Now they are saying each tile, a tile is measuring, the tile is measuring 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. Okay? So how many of these tiles can fit in this room here? Well, what we are going to do here is basically to look at the area of this. What is the area? Area of room, and A2 is the area of tiles. So number of tiles will be area 1 divided by area 2. But you need to note something. Note that the unit should be the same. What do I mean here? It means if you are to choose to use centimeters, then even this one should be in what? Centimeters. If you are to choose to use millimeters, then it means that the area of a tile should also be expressed in millimeters. You cannot use millimeters and centimeters, no. And that is a trick in the question. Okay? So let's proceed now and do our question. Let's proceed. The room is 3000 centimeters by 3000 centimeters. How many millimeters? This is millimeters. How many centimeters are here? Okay. Now let's convert these millimeters to centimeters using our acronym. Okay, hectometers, decameters, meters, decimeters, centimeters, and millimeters. We are converting from a millimeter to a centimeter. Okay, so between the 0 and the 1 we put a decimal. So it means that 1 millimeter is equal to 0.1 centimeters. So 3000 millimeters is equal to, we don't know. So 1 times x will give us 3000 times 0.1, and x will become what? X will become 300 centimeters. Okay, so it means that this side is 300 centimeters, even this side is what? 300 centimeters. So if the room is measuring 300 centimeters by 300 centimeters, it means that area 1 is equal to the length times the width, and this is going to be 300 by 300, and this will give us what? Go to your calculator. 300 times 300 is 90,000, so this will give you 90,000 centimeters squared. Okay, this is the area of the room. Now the tile is measuring 30 by 30, so area 2 is 30 by 30, and it will give you what? 30 by 30, 900. This will give us 900 centimeters squared. Okay, so number of tiles equals area 1 over area 2, and this will give you what was it? 90,000, okay, over 900. So we have 90,000 centimeters squared over 900 centimeters squared. That and that will go, and this will give us, let's check, 90,000 divided by 900, 100. So we are getting 100 what? 100 tiles. That's what we need. Okay, yeah, the question was saying how many tiles will fit in this room if a tile measuring that is used. So 100 tiles, 100 tiles will fit in a room. Now part B says if a dozen tiles costs 55,000, okay, 1 dozen is 55,000. So what is a dozen? 1 dozen is equal to 12 what? Tiles. Okay, so how much money shall be spent in total? Now before you get to know how much money shall be spent, you need to know how many dozens of tiles are in 100 what? 100 tiles. Okay, so note 100 tiles are needed So 1 dozen is equal to 12 tiles. What about X dozens is equal to 100 tiles. So X is equal to 100 over 12. And what do you get? 100 divided by 12 is 8.33. This is 8.33 dozens. Okay. So 100 tiles is equivalent to 8.33 dozens. But they are telling you that 1 dozen, but 1 dozen costs 55,000 shillings. This implies that 8.33 dozens will be 8.33 times what? 55,000. Okay, and this will give you 8.33 times 55,000. 458. This is 458 150 shillings. Okay, so that's what you do. Okay, the question says the room is rectangular. It is measuring 3000 by 3000 millimeters, but they are going to use tiles of 30 by 30 centimeters. You have a condition. First, make the units similar. For me, I have chosen to use centimeters. So all the millimeters in a room should be first converted to what? To centimeters. And we did that using this. Okay. 3000 millimeters is the same as 300 centimeters. So if you multiply the two, it will give you an area of 90,000. The tile is 30 by 30. So if you multiply the area of the tile, it will give you 900 centimeters squared. Now, the number of tiles is equal to area 1, which is the area of what? Room over area of tiles. Okay? And he has given us our what? Our 100 tiles. Now, how many dozens are this? A dozen is 12 tiles. Okay, a dozen is 12 tiles. So 100 tiles is basically 100 divided by 12, which will give you 8.33. But a dozen costs how much? A dozen is costing 55. Then it means that 8.33 dozens will be that times the cost of 1 dozen, which is now what? 458,150 shillings. Now you see the application of this, very practical. Okay. In our next lesson, we are going to look at our question number 2. This is supposed to be question number what? Number 2. We are going to look at how to now convert this in our next lesson. For learn. Question 1, we are done. I thank you so much for this, and I welcome you all in our next lesson. See you there. Bye.